And welcome to day 2, the post-Steve Shaw part of day 2 of SEC Media Days. It's my privilege to introduce our first coach of the day, next coach on the roster for Media Day, Kirby Smart. Kirby was the 2017 Georgia Munger National Football Coach of the Year, as voted by the Maxwell Football Club. 2017 SEC Coach of the Year from the Associated Press, and most notably by his colleagues, the coaches in the Southeastern Conference. He's one of 9 coaches among the Autonomy 5 conferences to be leading his alma mater, the youngest head coach to win an SEC championship game, and he and his wife Mary Beth just celebrated their 12th wedding anniversary. It's my privilege to introduce the head coach of the defending SEC champion Georgia Bulldogs, Kirby Smart.
Well, thanks, Greg, and good morning to you guys. Bright and early here in our home state. Excited to be here. I first want to thank Greg and his staff. I don't think everybody really understands exactly what they do. I know I didn't when I was an assistant coach in the SEC, but to sit in the SEC head coaches meetings and to manage 14 egos pulling in different directions, and I'm just talking about football, I think he and his staff do an incredible job of looking after our sport and our game. They're always looking ahead at trends. They're always looking ahead at things we can do better. And I think the SEC's in really, really safe hands. I'd also like to mention his predecessor and mentor, Mike Slide. I was very fortunate to come into this conference in 2003 as a very, very young assistant at LSU. And I still remember going to the SEC orientation meetings that year, SEC assistant coaches orientation meetings, and Mike Slide was in charge of those meetings. And I still remember the first time meeting him, and I think it's pretty incredible what he's done for our conference with the SEC network. I mean, he was thinking years beyond the rest of college football, and just want to thank his wife Liz and what all they meant to the conference and what they've done. It's pretty incredible. I want to thank you guys. I don't think you guys get enough credit for the job you do, and I know that a lot of people think it's just that time of year where you get to thank you guys, but we don't get an opportunity to do that. Today's an opportunity to say thank you for all you do, thank you for all the coverage. I certainly, being a player in the SEC, a coach for 15 of the last 16 years I've spent in the SEC, I know the coverage we get is first class. You guys do a tremendous job, and thank you for that. Also, with your miss, if I didn't mention the Directors Cup, the Learfield Directors Cup, and Greg McGarity, and our athletic director, finished 8th in that. I haven't finished in a long time, and that's really all sports. I want to congratulate all the coaches that we have at the University of Georgia and all other sports who have done a tremendous job this year of putting Georgia where they belong. Next, I move to the players I was able to bring with us. 3 guys that I light up when I think about them. Because Terry Godwin is a kid that I've known since the 9th grade. I've watched him practice every year or playing games or playing baseball games since his 9th grade year from Hogansville, Georgia. Got a wonderful family, and he's managing his sports management. He'll be with us guys today. And just a bright-eyed guy that loves to practice every day. Then Jonathan Ledbetter, likewise, I've known him for a long time. Tucker, right here in the heart of Atlanta. Just a great kid. He's been through a lot during his career, and he's shown some really good leadership qualities for us. And he's also a sports management major. And then last would be J.R. Lee. Very unique that you have a kid transfer from Frisco, Texas. Very bright kid. Came in and had to sit a year while he was transferring, learning the defense, competing really hard. Played really well for us last year, and was not afraid to step up and say things that needed to be said last year, and we expect those same things from him. He's a communications major. So with that, I hope you guys get to spend some time with him and enjoy it. The momentum we created from last season has been tremendous for us through recruiting, through spring. That wouldn't be possible without the players, coaches, and our support staff embracing adjustments, change. It's not easy to go through that. It's the first season going 8-5. We didn't change a whole lot, but we definitely demanded more. And I think when you do that, you've got to have a staff, you've got to have a group of players who can embrace that change. And they certainly have embraced that. We would not have created that momentum without that embracement. This season for us is going to be simple. It's going to be the measure of potential versus effectiveness. And when I say that, a lot of people are like, well, yeah, every team has a certain amount of potential. Well, I think potential is dormant ability. All right, and I think of effectiveness is what we get out of our potential. And we talk to our players all the time that pressure is really a privilege. You should feel privileged to have pressure to win games, to have expectations. And everybody's talking about the expectations. Well, last year this time, they were talking about the same expectations for the University of Georgia. I went back and reviewed my notes for this event, and it was the same thing. Georgia's expected to do this, to win the East, to win championships. Those are things that we embrace at the University of Georgia. We can't run from those things. We know that. So if pressure is a privilege, how you manage that and how you embrace that, and our coaching staff getting the effectiveness of our players out is what's important to us. And that's really the key ingredient for us going into this season. So it's important for us. We'll have a competition at an all-time high. I think that our top 100 guys out there at practice and fall camp, 110 that you bring into camp, we'll have the greatest competition we've had since my arrival. We may not have the most talent that we've had, but we will definitely have the most competition. And I think competition is what separates you. You know, listen to Jimbo talk the other day. He talked about the practice atmosphere and enjoying the camaraderie of the competition in practice. The best battles I've seen in my career, whether it's Miami Dolphins, Florida State, LSU, Alabama, and Georgia, they happened on the practice field. You know, everybody talks about iron sharpens iron. That's true. We're going to have some of the most epic battles we have for who's going to be the right guard, who's going to be the left guard, who's going to be the starting defensive tackle, because those are great competitions. That is what's going to drive us to have success, is those battles that happen throughout camp. I know a lot of you guys have already predicted the starters. You already know how many returning starters we have. I don't even know that, because I don't look at that and say, well, that guy's spot's locked up, because that's not the case. We can't allow complacency to slip in to our program or to slip into our staff, because I know that will eat away at the core fundamentals that we started to believe. And we had great standards set last year. Standards set by a group of players that did a tremendous job. But embracing those standards will be the challenge for this group. This group doesn't have to be Sony, Nick, Lorenzo, Isaiah, Dad, and Roquan. They don't have to be those guys. They've got to be the best them they can be. We got to bring out the best leaders we can and let those guys come to the forefront. And I think we've started to do that in our off-season program. At this time, I'd also like to thank President Moorhead. I've already talked about Greg McGarity, but for helping us keep our staff intact. I think it's tough in college football when you have a lot of success. I think you've seen it. Teams that have success, a lot of coaches get opportunities. A lot of members of your staff get opportunities. They help us keep that staff primarily intact. And I'm excited about the staff we've got. With the addition of Cortez Langston being our 10th assistant coach, working with wide receivers, I'm really happy about the staff we've got in that relationship with our players. We've got some work to do in the secondary. We've got some work to do with we lost a really good specialist last year with our punter. We've got to improve in that area. But we've got a lot of competition coming up this season. I'm really excited to sit back and watch that competition and see our staff work with these players. So with that, I'll open it up.